Juventus have had a pretty up and down season in the 2022-23 calendar, and it's down as much to their football as it is to things that have been happening on the field. You'd remember that they had gotten a 15 points deductions due to some issues with regards to them cooking the books, which had come up, and then that 15-point deduction was later rescinded. However, they have now been hit with a fresh 10-point deduction, and all it really does, more than anything else, is just add to the sense of trouble that has been surrounding the club, but which rather understandably has also left many people confused due to the arbitrary nature in which points deductions are seemingly first handed out, then taken away, and then after that another one is handed out again. So in this story we'll take a look at why exactly this is happening right now again, and how is it that both Juventus as well as other people are reacting, and spoiler alert, it is with a lot of confusion. So first off, let's take a look at how it is that this story has gone on so far. You remember that they were in fact docked a whole 10 points in the Serie A by the FIGC, and that is of course the Italian Football Federation. Now this was done of course due to the club cooking books, so there was of course a time period throughout wherein it public let's say an investigation had revealed that Juventus were inflating transfer fees that they received in order to ensure that they would be compliant with FFP. Now this is in a short way fraud, and so therefore it was frowned upon pretty heavily, and therefore you saw that 15-point deduction handout, but that 15-point deduction was in fact then taken away. But now a fresh 10-point deduction has been added, and it's coming at a time when the Serie A let's say season is about to come to an end. So obviously many people are confused, and Juventus, by the way, have reacted very strongly to this entire thing. Let's check out their reaction right now. They have said that the club, in absence of any clear rules, find themselves extremely penalized with the application of sanctions that seem to take into the account the principle of proportionality. Now what Juventus are saying is that you're looking at the crime the way it is and then proportionally handing out a punishment which is fair, but the due processes have not yet been followed. Juventus, by the way, maintain a degree of innocence here. They said that we've not done anything wrong, and we're glad that it's come out in public so that we can actually cooperate and clear our names. So what Juventus are saying is that there's actually no real rules to dealing with such things, and so the rules are being made up as pretty much things are going along, and it's hard to understand or hard not to disagree with them even if you don't sympathize with their plight. I mean, what they're being accused of is pretty serious, but any points deductions or any such penalties which have to be imposed surely would make more sense imposing them once things are proved. That seems to be the theme even for Juventus's rivals, including AS Roma, and their manager Jose Mourinho has spoken out pretty strongly against what is happening. Let's check out what he in fact had to say. He's in fact been left very puzzled by this entire thing, and he said that our approach, that is AS Roma's approach, would have been different in our last two league games if we had known before that Juventus were going to be penalized. I feel sorry for Allegri, that is Massimiliano Allegri, Juventus's manager, and his players, but at the league level I have to say it changes things a little, and more than a little, in fact, changes things a lot. What is it that AS Roma's manager Jose Mourinho is referring to here? Well, what he's saying was that if he had known before this, then in the previous two games that Roma had to play, he would not have rested and rotated so many players, because he would have preferred fielding at strongest 11, trying to get maximum points to ensure that they could qualify for Europe. Juventus, remember, were second prior to this, and having now gotten that 10-point deduction, currently sit well outside of the Champions League spots. Roma, on the other hand, are very, very close. So what he's saying was that if we knew, maybe we would approach things a little bit, and this does seem to be a rather arbitrary way. We'll wind up this story by actually going over what exactly it is have been the problems in recent times with Juventus. They've been accused of a major fraud at this point. Let's be very clear. The club are not by any means the victims here. They have been accused of something that's very, very serious, and in fact cooking the books is something that lands many people in jail. But the simple fact of the matter is the investigation is still very much an ongoing one, and therefore applying such punishments in the middle of it all just seems to make no sense. It would make sense if they were proven guilty beyond a shadow of doubt, and then later on the points deduction was put in, they were then docked points, their position was changed, they'd be banned from playing say Champions League football. All these kind of things just make more sense in hindsight once you know what exactly the level of the punishment is. Right now it's mostly accusations, and even as we speak, the investigation hasn't yet been done. So doesn't make sense handing out punishments when the investigation is not done, not in the least. And Juventus can understandably feel a little hard done by, as well as other teams as well, because what it does more than anything else is sow a lot of seeds of doubt and confusion, and that's never good when it comes to elite level sport. Hopefully this is the last of those punishments, but of course, if Juventus are proven guilty, then throw the book at them. But right now, it does make very little sense, except to try and show maybe the footballing public that, hey, look, we're actually doing something and getting somewhere with this. But that's just how I feel about this. What do you guys think? Well, you can let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, leave us a comment, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And don't forget to download the SportsTech app as well. Plus, if you're already on the channel, go ahead, check out some other videos that we've done. For now, from my side, goodbye.